Howdy folks, and today's lore episode is on the Stark Hyperspace War. Now, when Padme Amidala and her allies in the Galactic Senate sought to oppose the creation of a Grand Army of the Republic, they were staunchly opposed by a group including many veterans of the last great conflict before the Clone Wars, the Stark Hyperspace War. Now, the small regional military conflict that took place in and around the Kotal system was named after a smuggler and pirate who ran an organization called the Stark Commercial Combine. Now, Ayako Stark was a devious strategist, always looking to turn a profit. His considerable charisma had united an unlikely fleet of ships belonging to fellow smugglers, as well as bounty hunters, pirates, and mercenaries. The Combine's attacks on Trade Federation shipping were the apparent catalyst that sparked the conflict, but all was not as it seemed. Stark was a folk hero in the Outer Rim. He stole from the likes of the Trade Federation and then undercut them at market selling on the goods. However, Stark's real genius was in selling an intricate plot to the Trade Federation hierarchy and to Zufra, the main Bacta supply corporation to the Republic. Stark had developed a virus that crippled navigational computers. His plan was nothing less than to bring down the Republic by shutting down all of its shipping. Stark, the leader of the Trade Federation, Hask, and the head of Zufra, Adel Bell, kept the plot to themselves. Even their own people were unaware of what was really going on. Now, after the destruction of Zufra's vital Bacta refinery on Thyfera and Stark's bold raid on Trade Federation Bacta supplies in the Outer Rim, Minister Newt Gunray of the Trade Federation called for the Senate to allow the Federation to arm themselves in the face of such violence. Now, at the same time, Senator Ranulph Tarkin of Eriado demanded the Senate create a standing army and navy, a force he secretly sought to lead. But that was not the limit of Tarkin's ambitions. He wanted nothing less than to rule the whole Republic. Now, in the end, a diplomatic solution was decided, with Senator Finis Valorum and members of the Jedi Order organizing a meeting between Stark, Gunray, and Valorum on Troikan, with the Jedi moderating. It was, of course, a trap. Now, while the Jedi and Senate tried to find a peaceful solution to the conflicts in the Outer Rim, Senator Tarkin made a deal with Newt Gunray. Now, he had gathered a large military and naval force with the intent of ambushing Stark's smaller fleet while the negotiations were underway. Now, Gunray was to broadcast a signal to Tarkin when the meeting started. And this he did, unaware that the signal also transmitted the Navy Comp virus to Tarkin's ships. Stark had been tipped off well in advance. Now, after negotiations, Stark and his team pulled guns, blaming Gunray in his treacherous act. Tarkin, meanwhile, discovered to his cost the power of the virus. Only a fraction of his fleet arrived at Troikan, where they were attacked by a far superior Combine force. Now, the rest of the starships were lost beyond the galaxy or destroyed when their hyperspace jumps brought them out inside planets, suns, or black holes. Now, while Tarkin's remaining ships were torn apart, Jedi Master Tuvoka tried to lead a fighting escape from the interrupted negotiations. A panicked Newt Gunray ordered his bodyguard battle droids to kill everyone. The result was that Master Tuvoka was fatally wounded and Stark escaped. Tuvoka died even as the remaining Jedi, Gunray and Senator Valorum headed for Troikan. His final orders were to see Valorum safely back to Coruscant, find a way to defeat the virus, and for the surviving Republic forces to make a stand inside the former spice mines in Mount Avos on Troikan. The siege began. Now, on Thyfera, Master Thom and his Padawan Quinlan Vos had discovered the Bacta plot. Thom overheard a meeting between Adel Bell and Hask. Attempting to reach Coruscant, the two Jedi instead ended up on Troikan at Mount Varos, when the Combine took control of the Trade Federation ship they were stowed away on. Jedi Master Adi Gallia managed to escape with Valorum and Gunray, hoping to rally support in the Senate for a rescue mission. It was a vain hope. Now, with their allies and the warmongering Senator Ranulph Tarkin trapped on Troikan, the Jedi were unable to sway the Senate to send help, and it looked as though the siege of Mount Avos will be another victory for Ayako Stark. But however, in the mountains of Troikan, Jedi Master Plo Koon found he could read Stark's mind, gaining advanced warning of any assaults, and only by using this were the Republic forces able to hold off their attackers. While Plo Koon was earning the respect of the surviving members of Tarkin's all-human military force, Randolph's paranoia was increasing. He was utterly out of his depth and had convinced himself the alien Jedi Master was trying to usurp his command. Meanwhile, Padawans Obi-Wan Kenobi and Quinlan Vos struck up a friendship that would last for many years and see them through many trials. And beyond the mountain siege, Stark was having trouble keeping his men on side as the battle dragged on. After Gunray and Valorum had been smuggled back to Coruscant, the Senate voted not to surrender to Stark, but the force on Troikan was abandoned to its fate, as it had been an unsanctioned operation. However, Master Plo Koon had been able to telepathically contact his Jedi niece, Shar Koon, and through her, the Jedi Council and those on Troikan were able to propose a bold and unusual way of ending the conflict, devised by Master Strategist Oppo Rancisis and Plo Koon. Now, the Jedi Order struck a deal with Minister Gunray, by which the Neimoidian would send Trade Federation ships, backed up by Jedi, to destroy the Stark Combine. Gunray agreed after Mace Windu threatened to reveal the Federation's part in the Bacta plot. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, Jedi Master Thom, and Quinlan Vos were able to infiltrate Stark's base and secure the patch to defeat the virus. And remarkably, all of this was achieved thanks to the assistance of one man, Iako Stark himself. Jedi Master Plo Koon used his telepathic connection to Stark to inform him of the forces that were being brought to bear on him. Telepathically, Koon offered Stark the chance to betray his own people and bring about an end to the conflict in return for an amnesty from prosecution. Now, with members of the Combine threatening what would have been a fatal mutiny for Stark, he agreed to the terms. Plo Koon and the Republic forces, at Mount Avos, drew the Collective's troops into the old mines. And the plan was for the Republic forces to escape from the caverns through a tunnel the Combine knew nothing about and seal the entrances. Only when the band of smugglers and mercenaries surrendered would they be released. Above the planet, the Trade Federation ships led by Jedi, including Starfighter Ace SA-10, arrived in orbit and quickly overwhelmed the Combine fleet. This was helped by the fact that Quinlan Vos had disabled the flagship shields. Now, on Troikan, Plo Koon's plan was working extremely well. Unfortunately, the deranged Runov Tarkin was determined not to let the Jedi steal his moment of glory. Vos and Kenobi had discovered carnivorous insects called chalat eaters in the mines, and those tunnels had been closed off. Tarkin used explosives to reopen the mines, killing himself and releasing the chalat. Now, which actually descended on the trapped Combine forces. Now, Master Plo Koon only just escaped, and Tarkin claimed the dubious honor of being the man who had destroyed the Combine at Mount Avos. Now, the war was over, although many hundreds had been killed, and the compromises that ended it were muddy and unsatisfactory. Now, in order to get political support from Iriadu, future Supreme Chancellor Valorum had to declare Runov Tarkin a hero, helping his cousin Wilhuff Tarkin to rise to prominence. Meanwhile, Nute Gunray became a hero of the Trade Federation, helping him become Viceroy, and the man behind the crisis, Iako Stark, went to work for the Commerce Guild, where he was very successful in boosting their profits. Now, echoing Tarkin's arguments, the Stark Veterans Assembly continued to call for the creation of a Republic military. The only clear winner of the Hyperspace War was Darth Sidious. And there you have it. That is the Stark Hyperspace War, which occurred roughly about 13-14 years before the Battle of Naboo in Episode 1. So if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to keep up to date with my videos. Leave a comment or two, let me know what you thought of the video, and as always, I hope you enjoyed. And also, I do apologise for the recurring pictures and that. The Stark Hyperspace War, well, it's kind of easy to get information on it. It's a bit harder to find pictures of it, so to speak, or of that era. So yeah, I apologise for just the whole recurring images thing. But anyway, as always, I'll talk to you all in the next one. Later.